Hi folks, welcome to the induction. This is to give you an overview of how the platform works. So, who is iSazi Tutor? What do we do? I think if we start there, the answer is we connect eager students with their smartphones to expert tutors. And the word iSazi means expert, and so that's where it really that's the gist of what we do. So, why smartphones, you may ask? Well, I like this quote from Robert Kinzel. We think the phone is the remote control for your life. It certainly is for me. But the business model really is quite simple. The tutor becomes an edupreneur using his or her PC to create and publish courses on iSaziTutor.com. And then students access it on their smartphone. So the tutor is based on a PC or a laptop, but this big screen with a keyboard, and the student accesses the same content on their phones. Okay, well, now you might say, well, actually, are you crazy? I mean, small screen, how will that work? Well, the answer is yes. I am crazy. We call it nano learning, or a friend actually calls it nano learning. So we're not attempting to do an MBA course on a small screen. That would be crazy. We're attempting to do a short intervention, a short period of learning on a small screen. So if you think about food, and you would go to a cocktail party and you'd eat small little bites. The chef take a lot of time preparing the bites, and yet you would put it in your mouth and eat it in one go. And that's what we are for learning. So we are for learning what little tidbits of food is for gastronomy, really. Well, you might say, I'm not a tutor. I'm a teacher or a professor or whatever. That's really, we're trying to look at a generic name. And then, well, what will we facilitate? How does this work? Well, this is really the core of iSazi, and that is what we call courses. So if you look at how do you define the course concept, well, if you were in a schooling environment and the subject's called mathematics and you teach for level grade 10, you might come across a topic called mensuration, and that we will call that a course. So you might have a course for mensuration, grade 10 mathematics. Now, there are two types of courses, free and premium. We'll come back to this later on, but the free course is really to entice students, and the premium ones are really to engage them all. And we basically said, let's standardize the time in which we would present courses. Let's make it 4 to 5 weeks so that it's simple, because students, have a short attention span, and we want to make sure we don't lose them. Now, the very important thing before we start even thinking about how does the platform work and what do we do is this concept around planning. If you don't plan well, you don't execute well. I think we all know that. And the first step really is designing a course outline. So the course name really is Mensuration Mathematics as an example, grade 10. And the outline is then, what do you want the students to learn or to understand or to be able to grasp in the 4 or 5 weeks that you're going to do this course? You can choose between 4 or 5 weeks, depending on your circumstances. And I'd suggest you write this down. You actually create a document called the course outline, because you'd have to capture it in the platform as well. And then attached to each week's learning outcome or learning objective, you have what we call activities, and that's really, tutorials. Now, a tutorial consists of a series of activities. So if you say to somebody, if you want to explain a course material to them, you would maybe use any of these three examples here. For example, describe a concept using words or pictures. So you would type a little summary of this, bearing in mind that this will be consumed on a smartphone. So it's very important that you just bear that in mind. You explain a concept in an audio recording. Audio is a real good way of focusing students to learn and to listen, or you refer a student to an article or a video. The great thing about the internet is you don't have to create all your content yourself. You can reference to a video on YouTube or Khan Academy that explains something that you think is succinct and actually, speaks to what the students of your age group or your particular context must understand. And that's really quite useful. Now, immediately following a tutorial, you design a quiz as the tutor, and a quiz exists of questions that you decide how you want to structure it. You would certainly use any of the 4 different answer or question types, as we call it, or answer types rather. True, false, self-explanatory, multiple choice, single option, multiple choice, multiple options, and single word answer types. This is where you ask a question where the answer is a word, and the word has to be spelled correctly for it to be marked correctly. Now, students get immediate feedback from the quiz. Very important, because unlike the bricks and mortar or the face-to-face model, if you start with a course in a face-to-face environment and you start at 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock, by 11 o'clock, if somebody joins, they'd be behind. Students expect in an online learning environment to do it at their time, on their own time. And that's why tutorials must be available on demand, and they must get immediate feedback as well as they've done the tutorial. Now, they can attempt the quiz multiple times as well. But because tutorials can only address learning up to a point, we believe that there's also a need for assignments, which mirror the one that you would have in a face-to-face model. So tutors set assignments for once students have completed sort of halfway through the course material and further. The reason why we choose that is that you want to give students an understanding, you want to, of what the course is about before we start testing them. Because an assignment really is about testing sort of higher order thinking skills, which we'll come to in a minute. But the other reason why I want to delay it a bit is because students might join the course a week or 2 or 3 after you started. So even though you think everybody's in week 1, in week 3, there'll be a lot of people studying the week 1 sort of content space, and that's why they need to know when the assignments are due, so that they can do it, and you kind of do it towards the end of the course. Now, an assignment has got, like the one in the face-to-face model, or the bricks and mortar model as I call it, it has due dates. It is marked after the due date by the tutor, and if it's incomplete on a certain due date or on the due date, the student will forfeit the opportunity to participate. And they will have to attend the next or do the next assignment. That's perhaps why you would have 2 assignments in a course at least. So the assignments focus on higher order thinking skills. Most of you will know the Bloom's taxonomy. Those of you that are educationalists. I'm certainly no expert, but I love kind of speaking about these things because often, schooling environments and a lot of classroom interventions I've been in, even in corporate learning environments, focus a lot on the remembering and understanding, but we actually want people to sort of evaluate and discuss and create and really sort of understand and engage with the stuff in a different way. And if you look at how 3-year-olds learn, often it's by creating. So, draw a picture or color in the picture. What color is this? It's red. Okay, color in the ball with a red color, that sort of thing. It's all creative learning, really. And we need to, encourage that in students to get them sort of become excited about the material. So because we want this, there's additional answer types that you can use in setting the the assignment on top of the ones that are available in the tutorial. So you can still use multiple choice and sing true and false and so forth in the assignment, but you'd want to use things like submit a long text answer. So where you ask a question like, write down in 5 sentences what you think about this. Where you submit an audio file, even better. Now I can say, write down what you think, record it, and upload it to the platform. Obviously, all of this will be shown in the training materials, separate videos. Or submitting a picture. Picture's great, especially for things, one of the questions around a small screen is how will I teach people things where they have to, like, if I'm a maths teacher, how do I teach them mathematic, equations and graphs? Well, the answer is you tell them, draw a picture on a piece of paper and take a photo of it with your phone, and then you look at the photo. Then the last step, and quite an important one, is the concept of chat. Within the mobile phone industry and the mobile phone world, chat is very important. It kind of creates engagement. Now, there's 2 types of chat in iSazi. The one is a private conversation between the student and the tutor, which is important for learning. So the student might struggle with something and ask you a question. You don't have to now think, I'm going to have to respond in 5 seconds. You could answer once a day. Depending on the volumes. But as you log into the portal, which you can see on the separate training video, it immediately shows you whether you have chats that you must attend to or not. And then there's the group chat, which is really around group discussion. It's kind of the virtual equivalent of having group work. Where if you'd have a classroom teaching, you would put people into groups of 4 and say, discuss the benefits of this. You do the same with on the platform. And of course, the benefit for chat in this virtual world is that it is a lot less judgmental, so people can say things and they don't feel like they're immediate, especially if they're teenagers, sort of a younger group. But even students, you can be quite judgmental when somebody says this is what I think, and they may be a bit shy. Whereas if they do it online, it'll be much easier for them. So in summary, our elements we have in the courses. Understand what that concept is. You have an outline, you have a tutorial, and you have assignments, and then there's also chat. And then the leaderboard. At the moment, just remember the students access on their phones. We're only live on Android, and the tutors access it on an internet platform that's Firefox and Chrome or Internet Explorer, so on a web browser. All right, in terms of the commercial agreement, we require tutors to at least create one free course. The reason for this is it helps you to reach students and demonstrate the quality of your tutorials and your interaction, so that if they might feel, I wonder if this is a great intervention, and it will also you will seriously see how you will learn by creating at least a free course as well. And then, of course, there's premium courses. We believe that we don't want tutors to undercut each other, so we've come up with a standard price at the moment for a course. Students pay 140 Rand per course using their debit or credit cards, which is enabled by SnapScan in-app purchase. Tutors earn 75% of that, which is then paid at the end of the month. Or 105 Rand a student. And then we are embarking on rolling out other payment mechanisms because that's quite important. We estimate that tutors will invest quite a number of hours around the planning, probably about 8 hours per tutorial, about 2 hours a tutorial. Remember, that's a 12-minute or 15-minute, 12-minute tutorial that the students will see, but you'll probably spend about 2 hours creating it, thinking about it, creating assignments similarly, probably 3 assignments in a course over 5 weeks. Again, 2 hours an assignment, and then marking. We believe you could mark for about 12 students per hour. Remember, you only mark the questions that are not auto-marked. So multiple choice, true, false, those are all auto-marked. The ones that you have to mark is we have to listen to audio, look at a picture, or read a paragraph. And respond. And you'll see when you go to the training videos on how to mark an assignment that you mark question by question. So it makes it much simpler for you to assess. So with sort of 30 students in a course, tutors will earn 3,150 Rand for 31 hours work. So it's roughly 100 an hour, which is, I think, kind of a good break even. Of course, more students, you'll actually earn more because your extra incremental hours will be less. So we commit to advertise, sign up at least 100 users a month on the platform, to market the courses to the students, to actually analyze the big data in the background, see what people have done, how they've done, and market new courses to them, and to sort of continuously improve and empower the tutors as these edupreneurs or entrepreneurs. Important slide, what do you do next? Well, firstly, you can check out our Facebook. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Both of those are, it's either facebook.com/iSazi tutor or youtube.com/iSazi tutor. The YouTube channel is for tutors specifically or especially. It's the how-to channel where you can see how do I do this and how do I do that. admin@isazitutor.com. It's an email address manned pretty much 24/5, I'd say. Pretty much all the time. And any questions, any queries, any bugs, anything, just send it there. And if you want to sign up, just go on isazitutor.com/partner, and then you can sign up. So happy tutoring.